Hey guys, how's it going? Sorry, kind of an impromptu stream. I was just gonna do a little bit of work in the city. I figured, might as well bring people along for the ride, right? But yeah, let me, whoosh, I love that. It's so satisfying. Um, yeah, let me know if the sound levels are okay. All that, all that jazz. Um, also, yeah, I have no idea what the music's like. Hopefully, it's good though. Um, but yeah, we've we've had some small changes happen since last we were here. Um, we'll wander around, take a little bit of a look. Let's make it noon now. That's good for right now. But yeah, awesome about Sora though. That's cool news. Um, so one of the things I want to work on, Gumpy and Bart were out here earlier planting these nice fields of flowers. Um, Also, more over here. It's a lot of flowers. Kind of pretty though. I like it. We got a cow even living in the flowers. Look at him. He's just living his best life. That's a picture. But yeah, Sora is a character from the video game Kingdom Hearts, and he I think it's a he was recently added to Super Smash Brothers, the newest version of the game. And MCX is a big fan. He was very excited. Um, but yeah, so uh, Bart and Gumpy were over here adding some flowers. You can see this is where their flower beds were originally. I wanted to raise the water level in here though, because I wanted to kind of flood this area and make it an area where you could I don't know, just I didn't like how weirdly unfull of water it was, so I thought I'd put some water in here. Part of that meant though lifting up the flower beds and all that. So now we have to do the hard work of actually getting it finished. So we'll take a look at that. Let's grab some tools. I always use a diamond pickaxe and a wooden hoe for this. Let's see. We're gonna do, I don't know, dirt, I guess. 5 mask. Okay, there. Also gonna go in here and we're gonna drain this. Oops, not that. We're gonna drain this. Drain. We'll do the same thing in here actually. We will have to go through manually and destroy some of these nice seagrasses. I'm sorry, seagrasses, but you retain water. It makes it difficult for me to terraform. Okay, this should be good. I should get rid of that. Got one more over here. That might dry up on its own, but we're not going to take any chances. No, I don't actually know how Genshin Impact works. I've heard it's a popular thing. A lot of my friends are playing it, but I don't know. I have no idea how it functions. Um, Seems like fun though. Everyone seems to be having fun playing it anyway. That's what I'm hearing. So let's get rid of all these weird little seagrasses. Why would there even be seagrass here anyway, right? This is not the sea. We missed one. Okay. I think that's all the water. Cool. So the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go through and just make sure anything that is cave air is appropriately filled in with dirt. Yep. Called it. That's cave air. Also one more little plant. Don't think there's any cave air over here, but just in case, we're gonna come through. I'm okay with leaving these little puddles of water. They're gonna get filled in anyway pretty soon. Um, yeah, let's see here. Do also want to fill in this. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put up, just gonna put up a little wall, and we'll actually just do that with commands, huh? Probably the easiest way. Let's see here. And then one more goes here, all the way over to, it's like here. Okay, cool. And then we can poke a hole in here. And kind of fill this in. Fill our dirt. Alright. Looks like it was one of those. Fix those with grass. Okay, so that's all filled in with dirt. Now I just want to do just a tiny bit of sculpting on here, just to get the land to look better than it is. And I got rid of my my cave air thing again, which is a shame. So I'm pretty sure there's cave air over here. Maybe not. Maybe that's just weird land. Okay, let's do this. BE melt. And brush size 5. Let's just kind of melt some of this away. There it goes. I was pressing the wrong button. So let's see. What do we really want to do with this? I think I want to bring this out a little bit. Because I feel like that's... Also, this looks like it's got some lighting issues, perhaps? Maybe it's just the... Maybe it's just the tower in the way. I can't tell. Yeah, let's play around with this shape a little bit, see if we can get something slightly more pleasing. Let's see. Alright. And then over here, I want to do the same thing very carefully. I don't want to pull any of the flowers out. That would be weird. And I don't really want this to be super deep either. I really... Oops. See, I'm losing a few of the flowers. We'll fix them now. I promise. Here. Okay. The orchids are escaping. But yeah, I'm just gonna go through here and just kind of bring this edge out just a tiny bit. Let's see, and then we can say smooth that out. Actually, I'm fine with this brush size for this, actually. Go ahead and smooth this bottom layer, and then we can change it to some different blocks, maybe. Put a little bit of sand in there. It seems like a lot of effort to go through for such a minor thing, but I think it's important, you know, just to, I don't know, to always do your best when you do stuff, you know. Don't take the easy road out if you can avoid it. You know, unless it's something where it doesn't matter. But I think this is something where it does matter enough where it's like, okay, I feel comfortable putting in the hard work and effort to make this look as nice as I possibly can, you know? Or at least moderately nice. Let's see. That's looking pretty good. I think really now is just the palette is kind of awkward. Let's go in through with one of these. Start with stone, I think. If we do stone, that's gonna blend with the wall. Do we care about that? Maybe dirt is safer. Let's see. I see gravel. I see dirt. Which I don't need to do. I see stone. I see grass blocks. I see possibly andesite. Okay. Oops. What did I... Oops. Grass block. Try that. Okay. And this should allow us to paint all this pretty easily. Just get a lot of it fairly similar. So once everything's pretty much the same, then we can come in and start making some stuff different. Let's paint all the bottom layers of this. I don't need to worry too much about the stuff that's on the walls. We can come through and fix that independently. I don't think that's too much of a big deal. Let's see. We also want to kind of fix this corner because that corner looks funny. Okay, cool. And any of this grass blocks that we paint into dirt will just regrow grass later on, so um, not overly concerned. Let's see here. Yeah, that looks good. Cool. Let's see here. I think we probably want this bottommost layer to be kind of a sand mix. I think that would be good. So let's do sand, smooth sandstone, stripped birch. 25. Let's do. Why is that not working? Okay, cool. We're only going to do this on the bottommost couple of layers, the bottom 2 or the bottom 3. Let's see. Just get a little bit here on the bottom, and we'll probably do the rest with kind of a stone mix of some sort. I think these 3 bottom layers might be good. This is all good. I believe that's on the same layer. All right. Okay, that's pretty good. Let's get a little bit in there at the bottom. Maybe we'll do this part too, even though it's technically a different layer. I think that'll be okay. All right, let's do a little bit more painting. I think this will be like stone, cobble, andesite, something like that. Let's see, stone, cobble. Oh, not cobbled deep slate. Cobblestone. Mossy cobblestone. Andesite. There it is. And gravel. Okay, cool. Now we can kind of paint this. And this will hopefully help it blend a little bit. We can add a little bit of grass up near the top if we need to. Cool. All right. That's looking pretty good. I think we can probably do all this dirt too, to be honest. It's okay to have a little bit of grass there. Yeah. That line's a little bit sharp, but I'm not overly concerned. We can come back in with grab some grass blocks and kind of fill some of this in by hand if we want to. Really just how we feel, I think, at this point. Let's see. Maybe something like that. Let's see. Alright, that feels okay. And then we'll just put some water in here. So I want the water to come almost up to the grass, but not quite. There we go. Okay, this has been bugging me all day. It's a small change, but I think it's nice to have water, and it's nice to have the water be I don't know, organized, I guess, as to where the water goes and where it doesn't go. I'm gonna probably grab some of this fence and just continue this along here. Because I think otherwise it's a little bit weird that it's open to the water. Let's see. Also gives us a good reason for this strip of grass being here. I don't know what the plan was, so we'll leave it there, but Okay, cool. Step 1 complete. I also wanted to come look at this stuff. This is interesting. I think this is Richard's layout for this little town of Demius, which is cool. I don't know what the difference between the orange and the blue buildings are, but so far looking good. I like this building. This is pretty. It's a good one. I like this little staircase. Look at that. It's got a little... Love that. Got a little shop front. There's a wandering trader and his llamas. Yeah. And this is some sort of like town square. Kind of an interesting pattern. But yeah, I think that's all going to come out good. I'm not going to mess with it too much because I think he and many other people, I'm sure, probably have other plans for it. The other thing I wanted to do, I was thinking this would be a good spot for like a lake, kind of a big old lake that blends into this lake over here, which we also have to work on at some point. I thought maybe I'd dig that out today. I've got a vision in my head of how things should go. Today is kind of a fulfilling visions sort of day. So let's see here. Fill that in because I know that's gonna be cave air. Ridiculous how good I've gotten at spotting cave air from a distance. So I think the first thing I want to do is drain this little lake over here because there's nothing in here that needs to be underwater right now. Let's make sure that all that got drained. There is a little boat over here that is now not floating anymore, but that's okay. And some fish. I'm sorry, fish. I apologize. Yeah, that's good. And I think this water level was slightly above. Yeah, it's 60, 65. All right, let's dig this out. So we're gonna grab another one of our tools. Let's the air. And I think we can just get rid of any mass that's already on it. And we'll just use this to dig a hole in the ground, basically. The idea being that I think we'd like to be able to cross the lake somewhere around here. And then the rest of this should be kind of just inaccessible lake stuff. I like this little cliff edge there, so I think I'll leave that. This can be a little bit like that, maybe. This is honestly like how I do a lot of the terraforming around here. A lot of it's just starts out really ugly like this, and then we go in and we make it prettier as we go, little bit by little bit. Let's see here. Some weird underground water. Is that cave air? It's not cave air, it's just weird air. Okay, cool. Also, we're probably going to need to use this to dig out this area a little bit more. That seems good. Let's dig this out. Interesting, how close to the surface this stone is. I guess that makes sense. It's only like a thin surface layer of dirt with stone and whatnot underneath. I don't know why I didn't do this before. It's funny because all I had done before was literally I just took a low part of the plains and just flooded it. That was just a really bad way of doing this. Just seems very poorly thought out in retrospect. But what are you gonna do? I was young and naive back then, like a couple months ago. Alright. That seems dug out enough for like a kind of an interesting little lake system. let's see. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. We'll have to reroute this, we will have to reroute this little section of the path to go kind of over here, and we'll build a bridge. In fact, I think this can be a little bit wider. We're gonna put a bridge there. This part too, we can probably, I don't know, it seems weird to have two bridges right there and right there. But they two do go in two fairly different directions. So I think that's okay. Yeah, that seems reasonable, to be honest. I'm gonna make this one a little bit. Again, I'm just gonna widen the gap a little bit, just so we can get a decent sized bridge in there. But yeah, let's do like that. That seems pretty good. Okay, so I know it looks like a huge mess right now. But we'll come through and we'll kind of, you'll see as we go, the edges will soften. This will end up looking hopefully a lot better than it does now. So we're getting a vague layout. Then we can start coming in with these tools and cleaning it up a little bit. So let's use this one. Use our melt brush. Make it big for right now. And we're just going to go through and melt a little bit of this back. Try and get some sort of consistent shape along the edges here. That's important. The other thing this is doing is there was a bunch of water under there. Interesting. Don't know why that's like that. Is there a cave under there? No? Couldn't tell you. What does this say? Raise this land to accommodate the pond. Yeah, that was my plan. Alright. Lower that and then we'll kind of raise it back into place. Okay, cool. Start doing a little bit of this. All we're really doing is we're just we're finding ways to smooth this out, just to make it a little bit less chaotic and a little bit more kind of a natural generation sort of shape where possible. And it's just kind of a gentle, gradual process. So we want to push that back and then pull it back out. And when we pull it back out, it's a little bit better shape, I think. We're gonna need to address some of this stuff. Some of this stuff still looks real bad, but in general, it's getting better. This is a pain. I don't like that these flowers do this. I understand why they do it, but I don't like that they do. Okay. Oops. Cool. Let's push and pull this a little bit. Okay. And I apologize if there's a little bit of lag. Whenever I do this world edit stuff, or voxel sniper stuff, it does lag things a little bit just because it's changing so many blocks so abruptly. Here. Alright, this is looking good. You see, this is what we kind of started out with. We're getting slowly into a much better shape. It's taking a little bit of time, but we're getting there. The other thing I don't want to do is accidentally mess those up. Fill in these caves under here. Okay, cool. Let's get all this. Yeah. A little bit rough, but I think it's mostly okay. What is going on here? Oh, I don't want to do that. I didn't realize that was so close to the surface. Oops. Let's make sure that this isn't messed up. Wow, this is like right there. I didn't even realize that. That's crazy. This is a vault that Finn built, like a security deposit vault area. And it's extraordinarily close to the surface. I had no idea. Look at this. It's like one. It's like, I think, literally one block between here and the outside air. That's so bad. Oh no. Okay, so we won't mess with that. We'll leave that be. Hey, Bipeclax. Bipeclax? Is that how you say that? How's it going? Okay. Let's do... smooth it out. And this will help solve some of the weird floating blocks and whatnot. Voxel has like, I don't know what algorithm, how they're doing it. They have a surprisingly good algorithm when it comes to smoothing things out. It does a very good job. The World Edit Smooth tool tends to make things look very very square, which is, you know, I mean, kind of something you would think would happen in a game like Minecraft, given it's a block game. But I don't know, you get a lot of really big square corners that I'm not a huge fan of. So I think Voxel just does a better job, just in general. Okay, and again, I don't want to smooth too close to the buildings because it's going to make things messed up. We are going to smooth a little bit of this. Just a little bit. Okay. This is already looking much better. Yeah, I'm glad you agree. Not the best. It's okay. I mean, like, honestly, like, given how difficult a task like smoothing things algorithmically is, like, you know, I mean, I'll give them credit where credit's due. They did their best, but it's not great. No, it's gonna melt. And then we're gonna change our brush to be a little bit smaller. Kind of come through here and start making small changes. All right, that needs to go in a little bit. This, I think, needs to come out a little bit. Yep. Oops, that needs to go back in. I think that's mostly good. That's a little square. That's a little square right there. This is definitely very square. Let's back that off. I think I want to push this back a little bit. And then kind of blend the line between these deeper pockets. I think that's kind of an important concept. It's doing a good job of blending the edges. There we go. Okay, it's looking pretty good. I think this is a little better. Better. All right, cool. We're getting there. It's looking better and better as we go. I think we need to bring out a little bit of this corner. Maybe just a whole bunch over here. Here we go. It's a little nicer. Don't know what this thing is doing, but we need to get rid of it. In favor of adding a little more here. Let's see, how's that looking? I think it's pretty good overall. Let's push this back. Connect these two up. There we go, just like that. I get rid of some of these weird square corners. Much better. One's a little bit square, but I think it's okay. This one we can erode away quite a bit. Same goes here. Add a little bit in this corner, add a little bit in this corner. We just want to make sure that it connects up. So I don't want a lot of overhangs because I don't think they make a lot of sense over here. So wherever possible, we're trying to connect things up from the ground to fill in these overhangs. Okay. Alright, we got a little bit of overhang there, but I don't think it's doesn't seem like a huge problem. We're not gonna go in that corner because I don't want to mess up Finn's stuff underground. Hey, how's it going, Triaxle Fleas? Welcome. We're just doing a little more work in the city. Currently we're making a, I don't know, I was gonna call it a pond, but maybe it's more of a lake. It's quite large. Okay. Let's go back to a big brush. I think when I use a larger brush, like there's part of it where I like the big brushes because they get more done in a shorter period of time. But also I think that, especially with the smooth, when you have a big brush, it has more different blocks to compare to when it's trying to decide what it can do to smooth out the terrain. And I think that that's good because I think a larger sample size kind of I don't know if that's actually how it works, but it kind of feels like it to me. I think it just kind of does a better job in general of picking blocks when you have a larger selection to choose from. I don't really know. Whatever the case, usually ends up looking good, so not questioning it. What is going on with these flowers? I don't like that. Can we smooth them out of existence? Not really. That's okay. We'll come back and mess with them later. Okay. So far, looking pretty nice. Okay, I'm pretty happy with this basin shape. I think really the next big thing is going to be just to change all the materials to be the same. So for that, we have to get an idea of what's here. We have iron ores, diorite, granite, dirt, coal ore. I'm okay with the cobble and stuff. We can leave that for now. I think probably gravel too somewhere in here, andesite as well. Yeah, okay. So just your average stuff. Let's see here. So we have granite, diorite, andesite, coal ore. This is iron ore, dirt, grass. What else? It said maybe gravel. We're gonna find out in a second if that was all the things. Alright. And it's not super essential that we get everything, but I would like to get the vast majority turned back into stone, because then we can do things where we mask only stone, and that's going to affect everything instead of like leaving these weird patches of other stuff. Also, I'm kind of the opinion that ores, the naturally generated weird pockets of ores, just look bad in builds unless they're like intentionally placed, you know? Like if you're using ores to accomplish like some sort of gradient or something, that's cool. But if they're just ores because that's the way Minecraft generated them and you just left them there, I don't know if that looks as good. So we're just gonna use this to clean this area up a little bit. Yeah, I'm not a fan of the way Minecraft randomly generates pockets of material. Like, I understand why there's like random blobs of diorite and andesite and stuff like underground, but it's just, I don't know. I mean, I guess that's why there's things like World Painter around, right? So that for all those picky people like me who don't like the random pockets of ore, we can make worlds that don't have them. Right? That's the plan. Okay, I don't want to mess too much with that because I don't want to go too deep and end up with stuff in weird places. We also need to add this mask, so we can do this. Let's see. This is not built out of any of those materials, so we should be safe converting a lot of this stuff. I feel bad for the dolphins and stuff. We'll have to fill this back with water pretty quick here. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to make this a more livable location. I'm getting rid of all the weird diorite in your home. It's a good thing. Okay. Let's see here. Okay, this is looking pretty okay. Not terrible. I think eventually we'll come back and we'll add some detail pieces underwater. So we'll come back through underwater and put some sunken logs and things like that. But for right now, I just kind of want to get the general shape done. Let's see. Smooth sandstone, and then stripped birch wood. Full mass stone, and this will let us just paint the bottom of this whole dealio. Paint it all in. We don't want too much of it to be this weird sandy stuff, and we do want some other things. But I think this is a good place to start in a lot of instances. I think it does wonders for kind of defining where the shallow parts of a river or a pond or a stream or an ocean, where the shallow bits are, and then where the really not so shallow bits are. Okay. We don't have to stick too strictly to the height level. We just kind of go with what we think does a good job of portraying where the bottom is, and I think that does a pretty good job. Add a picture of my face under the water. FBI's here. Oh man. Oh jeez. Don't arrest me. I'm not doing any illegal Minecraft. Only good boy legal Minecraft, I promise. How's it going, Tark? How you doing? What have you been up to, my friend? Oh. That is a ravine. Interesting. Not a big fan of that. Not in my house. Let's just do stone. Okay. Yeah, that's not so great. Let's fill this in. Okay, cool. What we're using was this one? Yeah, it was. Okay. That one didn't fall too far. We're okay. Ah, I miss you too, my friend. I miss you too. I'm telling you, man. You should come build on the server. Come do some buildy builds with us. It'll be a good time, I promise. Oh, nice. That's right. I forgot about that. How is your mom? This will be the point where I make a really good your mom joke. But you caught me off guard. I wasn't expecting it. Also, I don't know if your mom's watching the stream, and I would feel bad. Let's see here. Yeah, this looks okay. Not the worst thing I've ever done. And that's saying something. Ooh. Okay. It's kind of hard to paint this stuff when I can't see the bottom, but I think I'm getting most of it. I always come back later and paint the rest of it. Oh, the squids are dying. I'm sorry, squids. Okay. And I think I want that area in the back to actually just be stone. Free. Like, go away, Mom, I need to play video games. Oh, it's funny. I didn't make a your mom joke. I was going to, but I felt bad about it. Because Tark's mom's actually really nice. And I feel like because I know her personally, it makes the your mom jokes a little more personal. My mom watches all of your streams and you should probably feel bad. I do. Just tell her that, like, that I'm a worthwhile person apart from the streams, you know? For the most part, I'm pretty okay. Oh. Okay. Let's do stone, andesite, cobblestone, mossy cobblestone. What else is there? Dirt, coarse dirt, rooted dirt, gravel. What else? I guess we could put some sand in here. I think that's it for like kind of my river bank mix. See how that? Yeah, that looks pretty good. I like that. You have to understand that a lot of this will also be underwater, so it won't. It looks a little chaotic right now. Once it's underwater, you won't notice it as much. All right, cool. Yeah, this is looking like a pretty good. We're like 11 minutes before homeroom begins. That's right. You're on the opposite clock, so it's like 7:30 where you are. You should just tell your teacher that that your class should just watch my stream instead of class. It's educational. I'll say some educational things. I teach you guys about math. Do math stream. That would be fun, right? How cool would it be to learn your math from like a cool streamer person? Or from me? I think it'd be pretty cool. I'm a little biased though. Okay. This seems like a pretty good start. I think a lot of the fine tuning is going to be done underwater once this is filled in. Let's fly up here and get a picture pre-water so we know what it looks like. Say a math. Let's see. What's a math thing? A math thing that's interesting. I'm sorry. I'm so so pushy. Math thing. I don't know. The square root of -1 is an imaginary number. Imaginary numbers are one of the many different kinds of numbers, but they're very important for how we do math. It turns out that some things that we think are impossible are only possible with the powers of complex mathematics, complex numbers. It's a very interesting thing. I'm often fascinated by imaginary numbers and how they come into play with the stuff we do on a regular basis. You know, it's one of those things where I don't know. It's involved in a lot of the things we do day to day that we don't even realize it. It's pretty impressive. I don't know. It's a cool thing. Cool math fact. Let's do this level. Is this 65? This is 65. Nice. Should we do 65? Should we do a little bit higher? Yeah, maybe one higher. 66. Water. Oh, can't do that. That goes too far. Hope all that hope all this water goes away. Let's drain that all out. Okay, so that was a mistake. That was too much water. Let's also drain this. Oh, I'm sorry, fishes. Why does water automatically create fishes? I never learned imaginary numbers in school. I have no idea what they are. It's, you know, it's one of those things that, like, it seems like it's really complicated, but in truth, what it boils down to is just imaginary numbers are, it's, you know, we have to think about, so if you think about the regular math graph, right? You've got X and you've got Y, and they make like a plus sign. Imaginary numbers are numbers that come out of the graph towards us in that third dimension. It's a kind of a third dimension of numbers. And it lets us do things, because otherwise we have problems like the square root of -1, the square root of any negative number, which are functionally impossible without use of imaginary numbers. And that's not good. You don't want things to be impossible, you know? You want things to be possible. Because if we can't describe what they do, you know, they don't have to be stuff we can do normal things with, but they have to be, you know, they have to exist. If they don't exist, it makes things really difficult. Okay, cool. Let's find 65 over here. 65. Okay. Make sure it all loads in. Excellent. That's still a waterfall. Well, see, that's kind of the cool thing, though. Is that some of the things that we seek to do with mathematics are solve questions, you know, about, you know, why is it impossible to divide by 0, right? And it turns out, that that we can do things like we can approximate what it means to divide by 0, right? We can talk about the fact that they're called limits. We can talk about, you know, what happens as we get close to dividing by 0. So if we divide by something that's very, very close to 0, so like 0.01, and then something even smaller, 0.001, and then we extrapolate from that information, you know, we understand, you know, what it means to really divide by 0. What does that functionally mean in terms of mathematics? What is the, you know, what are the, you know, if we were to try to attempt something in real life where it would be modeled by dividing by 0, what actually happens in those instances, right? Because obviously, if it's something that we can do in real life that approximates dividing by 0, it's obviously possible because we do it, right? You know, so what does that actually mean? What does it come down to? Some of that stuff is, I don't know, it's really interesting to me, because it talks a lot about how we use math and how we often think of math in a way where it's all theoretical stuff. You know, it's like, oh, you know, there's math and then there's the real world, and there's not a lot of overlap. But it turns out there's actually a lot of overlap. You know, much of the physical universe is described in terms of math. The only way that things work, you know, and math is not really you know, it's a language of the universe. It's a universal language. It's something that it brings everything together and ties everything together in a nice, neat little bow. In a lot of ways, math is, you know, more at the core of so many other areas of study, you know, more so than any other science, I think. I don't know. I like math. It's an interesting subject. I'm currently learning plotting linear functions on a graph. Nice. It's a good skill to know how to do. Graphs, despite what anyone may tell you, graphs are going to come up a lot in life, I think. Even just today, I made a line graph for my work. Although I did it with I did it in Google Sheets, so I don't know if that really counts, but still, it's cool. Let's see. Oops, not grass plus block, just grass block. It's dirt path. They keep changing the names of blocks on me. Let's see. Mossy cobblestone. I think that's everything in that little. I should just be able to do this. Oh, I have mossy stone bricks in there too. Okay, cool. I'm gonna push this back a little bit. All right. So I think that this road. Don't think this road is going to be quite as prominent as I originally anticipated. I think we got this road that goes across this little bridge, and I think that's okay. And I'm like, mayonnaise, I don't use math at all. It's true, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, I feel like I think a lot of people use math and don't realize that what they're doing is using math. You know, anytime you estimate, you know, what are the odds that this such and such a thing is going to happen, any predictive kind of stuff. A lot of that at its core is math. It's just subconscious math. It's math we don't know we're doing. Concrete. I think that's what this is. Yeah. And then it's like this. We can kind of erase this. We can put it back in a second in a better place. Here we go. Okay, let's reassess this. If you liked math so much, why don't you marry it? Kind of did marry it. I got a degree in it. It's about as close to marrying a subject as you can get, I feel like. Well, so here's the deal. When you talk about infinity plus 1, you can't talk about infinity as if it's a number, because infinity isn't actually a number. It's a concept. It doesn't actually have any value. We can only add numbers that have values together, right? So we can add 1 and 2 and 3. We can add 3.5. We can add 4/17, right? We can do all these things. But we can't add things like infinity, because infinity, it's not a number. It doesn't exist. It's really just, infinity is a concept that we use to describe a number, used to describe something that's very, very large, that's infinitely large. Infinity actually describes, it's a boundary condition of the numbers. Sorry, hold on just a second. Not brass block. Although that would be cool. That's much better. Yeah, so we can't really, it'd be like saying what is dog plus 7? We don't really know, right? Because dog isn't a number, so we can't add a number to something that's not a number and get a coherent answer from it. That's why anytime someone tells you, that something is equal to infinity, that they're wrong, because things can't be equal to infinity. It just it doesn't work. Equality is something that's reserved only for numbers and equations and things. Infinity doesn't really fall into either of those. There are a few very specific examples where I guess that's not technically true, but not a lot of things you're going to run into on a regular basis, I don't think. Hog plus 7 equals dog 7? Maybe. But that really relies on, what rules are you following in math, right? So, we take it for granted that when we add things together, that because when we say 2 plus 7, we say that 2 plus 7 is equal to 9. We don't say that 2 plus 7 is equal to 2 next to a 7, right? Or that 2 plus 7 is equal to the phrase 2 plus 7. Not really, right? We assign a numerical value to it. And part of that comes from what's called our choice of axioms. So axioms are like our rules. It's the rules that everyone agrees that they're going to play by when they do our kind of math. And it turns out that the general rules of math that we use, day to day, they're not the only ones, right? It turns out that 2 plus 2 is not always equal to 4. It's only equal to 4 if we collectively decide that that's how we're going to define it. But it's entirely possible that 2 plus 2 could be equal to any number of other things. But we as a society have kind of agreed upon the rules of this game, and the rules of the game say that, okay, anytime you have two numbers and you add them together, we're gonna put them down as tally marks, base 1, and we're gonna put them all next to each other, and however many total marks we have, that's gonna be the value of addition. That's how addition works. We set these rules as a society, and we agree to follow them. It's the same way that think about sports, right? If you're thinking about soccer's kind of a universal sport, right? Or football, as they call it in other countries. Why are the rules of soccer or football, why are they the way they are? Why is it that when you kick the ball into the goal that counts as a point, but if you kick the ball anywhere else, it doesn't count as a point? Like, who decided that was the case, and why is it that every single soccer team plays by these same rules, right? More or less. And it's just because it's a social construct, just like a lot of things. We decided a while ago that these are the official rules of soccer, and anyone who plays by rules that are not these is, that they won't be counted, right? But it's, at its core, it's purely something that we've decided. It's not something, there's no universal rules that say that soccer has to be played a particular way. It's not a physical law of the universe that kicking the ball through these particular two little posts equals a goal. But it's something that we've all kind of decided to respect as a group. It's the same way math works on some level. The rules to math are somewhat arbitrary. It really comes down to what the agreed social contract is regarding math. There are some other factors. There are some things that are inherently true no matter what the rules are, but they are things that are represented. These inherent truths are shown in different ways depending on what rules you're deciding to use. I don't know if any of that makes any sense, but I don't know. I did take a class on this stuff. Interesting. It's interesting. Concatenation, yep. 88 plus 22 always equal 100. I like that. And if you got enough people together who were willing to agree that anytime they added numbers together like that, that's how it would work, that you change the base system for your group of friends, then effectively that math becomes true, right? If you're able to, you have to, what it also means is that you have to agree to make that true in all places where it would be true, right? So in addition to just 88 plus 22, you also have to agree, okay, what are the other instances where we do this kind of math that would affect the way we do, normal things, the basic kinds of simple stuff like addition and subtraction and multiplication. How does that change the implications of these problems? That's something else you have to kind of work out with your group. Sounds a little philosophical. Why is math the way it is? Philosophy and math are very, very closely linked. A lot of the very early philosophers were mathematicians in their own right. Same, goes the other way too. A lot of the early mathematicians were philosophers, right? Because it's a language of logic, and that's what a lot of philosophy is kind of built around. Oh, catch you later, Ruben. I think math is closer to a language than a game. Game rules were designed arbitrarily. Math is more expressing what already exists in a way that we can understand. I think that's true. And I think the same kind of rules apply, when you come down to it. We agree in English that, that certain things are pronounced certain ways for certain reasons. And at the end of the day, when you think about it, the reasoning we have for all of this is all arbitrary, right? There's no physical law that says that, I after E except after C, and except when not that is the case. But we kind of, again, it's an agreed upon social contract. I don't know. Interesting stuff. Math is cool. I think the big issue with math these days, it's got kind of an image problem. I think there are a lot of people in kind of our parents' generation and some in, in the younger generations these days who have not been taught math in a very good way. And so they've kind of learned to hate math. I think you'll find a lot of people in like your parents' generations, will say things like, oh, I'm terrible at math. Math is, math was my worst subject in school. I'm not good at math. Things like that. And I think that a lot of what it comes down to is just poor educational systems in place. Math historically has been a subject that has been it's very difficult to get really good math teachers because there's not a lot of people who want to devote the time to getting degrees in math and studying it and learning it. So what ended up happening for a long time, especially in the US, and I'm sure in other places too, is that the people who were teaching math were not people who were actually qualified to teach math. It was whoever they had on hand who physically could teach math, right? Oh, you took a math class? Okay, cool. Yeah, you teach math, right? And you end up with a lot of people in these school systems who are teaching math who don't like the subject. They don't like math, but they're the ones who are teaching it to the next generation. That's rough. But I think I don't know. It's unfortunate, because I think that if you end up in a situation where you have a really good math instructor, someone who's really excited about the subject, someone who knows a lot about the subject, and someone who really gets it, I think it's a lot of fun. There's a lot of really cool things, I think this is true of a lot of subjects, that they teach in schools, and the way that the education system is just the way it is in general. There's a lot of subjects where, like, you grew up hating it, not because the subject itself is something you're not interested in, but because you had a bad teacher. You had someone who didn't teach you, the way that made sense to you. You had someone who didn't like the subject themselves, and so did a poor job of teaching it because it's hard to teach something when you actively don't like doing it, That's absolutely true. But it is a little bit sad, I guess. I feel like I hear a lot of people these days who talk about how much they hate math and how they think that, why do they even teach math in public schools? When are we ever going to need to do this kind of math? It's a useless system. They should have more of this and more of this instead. It's a little disheartening, but it's the way of the world. I hope that I don't know, people like me, people who are interested and excited about the subject, and maybe we can work hard to teach kids, teach our children and maybe other children, just that math is it's an exciting and interesting thing. Maybe we can start to make a change in that, but I think that starts with finding people who are interested in math, and that's a hard enough task in itself these days. But yeah, I don't know. I got off on a math tangent. I like talking about math. It's an interesting subject to me. Something near and dear to my heart, Let's see. I don't even know what I'm doing out here. I think I'm just smoothing out these weird shapes. do think a certain math should be in college as opposed to high school. I also don't think it should be mandatory beyond what we would use in our everyday lives. Yeah, I think that's true to an extent. I do think that I do think that there's a lot of math that is not well taught. And I think that there's a lot more math that's applicable in people's everyday lives than people really understand. But it's just the fact that math has historically been so poorly taught that you don't realize it. But there's there is social benefit, I think, to math classes. I don't think it's something that I don't think it's ever something that someone should skip, entirely or anything like that, obviously. But I think that I think when people talk about, I only want to learn the math that I'm going to use in my day-to-day life, I think that most people's lives would be improved. I think a lot of people would have a lot more opportunities if they had been given opportunities to learn a little more math. Because it comes up in strange and unexpected ways, in places that you'd never expect. There's a lot of times when you talk about math stuff and people say, well, that's not math. I didn't need to, I know that, but that's not what I learned in my math class. And that's a different, it's a different kind of thing, I think that people as a whole, that math education has just been so poor that I think that just a lot of people don't even realize what constitutes math education anymore. And a lot of things that we do regularly in our day-to-day lives require a lot of math, and it's stuff that we've kind of learned by watching people over the years and stuff. But if we had a program of formal education, that I think a lot of people would benefit. Things like I don't know, like budgeting, right? Like that's a thing that a lot of people are talking about these days. Sorry, I'm not reading the chat. A lot of it is building intuition that you don't even realize you use in your life. I never use things like algebra and calculus in my life, at least as far as I know, in trig. See, I think that's the thing, is that we use a lot of those kinds of things in our life, but we don't call them that. And we never see them in the format that we see them in the classroom, right? In the classroom, when you do algebra, you always see A plus B is equal to C plus D plus 3 is equal to 10 or something like that, right? But that's never, you're never going to encounter, yeah, you're right. That's never something we're ever going to see in the real world. You're never going to run across a blowing scrap of paper in the wind that says A plus 3 equals 10, solve for A, right? That's not the way math shows up in real life. But you will end up in situations where, like, I don't know, like when you go out to dinner with some friends and your friends say, we'd like to, you've got two friends and they say, we'd like to split this bill evenly between the three of us, right? And that's its own kind of little algebra problem in itself. It doesn't seem like it, but it is, right? We've got one independent variable, which is, if we're splitting it equally, right, then it's just one variable 3 times. And then, so we have 3 times x, which is our unknown, that's how much people are going to pay, is equal to the total cost of the bill, right? Which is, I don't know, $43.16, right? That's an algebra problem, right? It doesn't seem like it, but when you get down to the nitty-gritty, we are solving for x. And what we have to do is divide both sides by 3, and that gives us an answer, which is the amount of money that people pay, in order to split this bill evenly. And granted, these days, it's a lot easier because there's an app for this and there's an app for that. But there is something to be said for being able to do that kind of thing on your own, independent of your phone, right? Little stuff like that. There's a lot of calculus when it comes to thinking about, like traffic speed and stuff, right? Thinking about how long is it going to take me to get from point A to point B, taking into account the fact that my car doesn't move at exactly the same speed all the time, right? You know, there are times when my car is moving faster, and there are times when my car is moving slower. And there are even times when my car is moving from being slower to being faster, and so on and so forth. You know, that's calculus. We do some of it's stuff that we do intuitively, right? And some of it is stuff that that we do intuitively, but we took the hard way in learning how to do these things, because no one ever told us that splitting a check is the same as doing algebra. Yeah, sure, it's just division, but division turns out that it's algebra at the end of the day, right? You know, what if you wanted to split the cost of the bill by 3 people, but you also wanted to, you know, I don't know, maybe there's gratuity or something, but you didn't want to split the cost of gratuity evenly between 3 people, right? You know, I mean, these are real situations, you know, I mean, and obviously this is a fake one that I've made up off the top of my head, right? It's not gonna be perfect, but it's more to illustrate a point than anything, I think. But I don't know. Yeah, it's true. You do need the intuition, you know? I mean, that's part of it too, is that, you know, math is more than a tool for just solving problems. It's also a way of thinking about the world around you, right? You know, like Finn was talking about, right? You know, it's needing, you know, to have the intuition for how do you phrase a problem, right? If I have, you know, some problem going on, like, you know, I have a budget, right? I have a budget of this many dollars, and I need to be able to, you know, pay this much for rent, and I need to be able to save this much to pay for my food for the month. You know, how much can I spend on this new Snuggie that I got for my cat, right? What's the maximum amount of money I can spend on this cat Snuggie? If I want to save this much money for rent, and I want to save this much money for this, and 10% of it goes to state taxes, right? That's a math problem, you know? It's just, you know, I don't know how much of this really means anything. And I have I think math education in general is just kind of it's a touchy subject for me, because I think that a lot of countries, including my own, have done a very poor job in recent history of handling the situation the way it is. You know, so I mean, I'm more militant about it, I think, than the vast majority of people. But you know, it's I don't know. It's an interesting subject of conversation, if nothing else. Okay. Oh. Like you said, MCX, it's a language of communication as well. Very useful for talking with other people. Yeah. That's also true, you know. Being able to communicate ideas. You know, and I think that's also one of the big problems with how we do things, is that we don't, you know, maybe we teach people how to do math, but we don't teach people how to communicate about it. Because at the end of the day, in your real lives, right, like you said, you know, what am I ever going to use algebra for? What am I ever going to use calculus or trigonometry for? Unless you understand when you're going to use it and how you're going to use it, then then you aren't going to use it, right? But I think there's a lot of things that it makes people's lives easier, but they haven't done a good job of teaching people how to use it to make their lives easier, and that's what's frustrating to me. Anyway, that's my math rant for the night. Congratulations. It's Math Rant Monday. This is looking pretty good, though. I feel like these shapes are pretty smooth. They're a little bit weird, but they're smooth. And I'm liking my little pond, which is really more of a lake at this point. But yeah, honestly, I could fly around here for hours, just nitpicking at all the little grass islands and stuff. but I think this is pretty good. This is a pretty good start anyway. Yeah, it's a lot better now, isn't it? And you can see where I stopped doing it. Like here, this is really bad. That's not so smooth. And I'm gonna have to go through probably by hand and fix all these, these little curves and stuff. This is also an area I want to tackle at some point. We'll get to that eventually. I don't know when, but some point. The problem is that we don't teach math in a way that's applicable and perhaps more importantly fun. Also, we have calculators on our phones. The need to do it manually is kind of dumb. I think that's one place where I think we have to agree to disagree. I think that the ability to do math without a calculator is a very, very valuable skill. I don't think the fact that we all have calculators on our phones does anything to change the fact that that is a valuable skill. Because I think that, for like really basic stuff, yeah, if you're just doing multiplication and whatnot, sure, you do it on your phone, but there are definitely, I don't think it's good to be too dependent on technology to do the hard work for you. I think it's better to use technology to do the things that you can't do, or to do the things that you can do more efficiently. But I don't think it's ever a good idea to pretend that, that having access to technology is just going to solve all your problems for you. I do a lot of job interviews. That's what I do for a living. That's my job. And let me tell you, especially in this line of work, I work with casinos and stuff. The ability to do math in your head, that's a huge bonus. That makes you look really good. Even if it's something that's not necessarily required for the particular job that you're applying for, it looks good because it means that, it shows you as someone who is dedicated to the work and able to problem solve and critical think, which are very, very valuable skills. Critical thinking is something that, that a lot of people struggle with. And it's because, a lot of critical thinking, again, we're going off into math rant land again, but, math, the fact that math is so closely tied with logic, really means that it actually has a lot more to do with critical thinking than you'd imagine. And critical thinking is such an important trait to have, especially in this day and age. The ability just to have thought that is, relevant to the conversation, and to formulate, ideas and thoughts based on the things that are happening around you. It's very valuable. It's something that we don't see as much of these days. Let's see. Okay, that was bugging me, but I think this is a little bit better. Agree, just because you have a calculator on your phone doesn't mean you know how to do it correctly. Technological solutionism is such a big problem. I think the opposite way. I think it's better to know how to do more simple math, but use a calculator for more complicated math. Maybe, but I think that on some level, I think it's good to be able to do both, but I think if we had to pick one or the other, I think that there's a lot of complicated math that you can't do on a calculator, right? And it's not even complicated like I have a degree in math level complicated. Like it's, think about how difficult it is to do algebra on your calculator, right? It's doable. There's a solve function on most calculators, and I'm assuming a lot of phones could download some sort of algebra solver app. But it's honestly at that point, sometimes it's more effort than it's worth. At some point the question becomes, wouldn't it be easier if I just learned to do algebra than to spend all this time learning how to avoid doing algebra by doing it on my phone? At some point, I think the cost versus benefit is sort of negative, I guess. Negative benefit for the amount of time that you spend on it. But I do very much agree with you about the fact that learning math, that learning math and being taught math in a way that's applicable to real life and that's fun and interesting to learn about. That is absolutely something that's true, and that's something that is very difficult to deal with. That's something that very few very few teachers do a super great job at, I think. You know, a lot of it is just a general devaluation of the education system in general, which we won't talk about too much, but I think that's part of it. I think also it's just, you know, like I said, math is it's a difficult subject for people to teach. But I do think that if it were presented in a more interesting way, and that if it were presented in a way where they talk about the practical applications, that it would be far more valuable to people than it currently is. I think, you know, you're very right that sitting in a classroom and sitting and doing worksheets and not being told why you're doing the worksheets or how they're going to apply to things that you do later in life is not at all helpful. It's not good learning practices or teaching practices. But I think that the solution is not to teach less math. I think the solution is to teach the same amount of math in a better way. Let's see. That's pretty smooth. What am I going to work on next? That's a good question. Honestly, I think I'm actually going to maybe I might make a single tree. But I probably won't do a whole lot more work. This is like a really short stream, and I'm sorry. Probably just going to go another 15 minutes or so. And maybe work on some tree stuff or get some more planning done around this area. Mostly I just wanted to get some stuff sketched out and then get this little lake in place, because there are people who are currently building, as you can see, all over here, and pretty soon they're going to get to here, and before they got here I wanted to have this done. Yeah, I'm sorry that this stream has been 90% math rant and only 10% Minecraft. That wasn't really my intention when I started, but it's these things. They're spicy topics and they get my brain going. Let's see here. Oh, okay. I'm gonna work on this for a little bit. So I do think that this needs to be flattened out a little bit. I'm planning on building a bridge that starts here and goes across the river up to here, and then have a path that comes over the top of this ridge, down, and then probably comes down through here. So we really just need to smooth this out into something where we can build a path on it. All right, catch you later, Finn. Good to have you. Good to have you. Nice chat. Let's see. Grass, tall grass. Oh, it's tall _ grass. I think this might just be grass, though, to be honest. I don't think there's anything else here, huh? Some flowers, but not too worried about those. I also just want to get rid of some of this grass, because every time that I try to do commands when there's grass around, grass messes everything up. Rip grass. Okay. I have no idea if I already have this command active. We're going to do this anyway, just in case. And I think I actually want to paint this to be grass as well, much as I like the diorite. Okay. Just paint this, just so that we don't end up drawing this out with grass. That would not be, or drawing this out with diorite. It just wouldn't be ideal. Okay. Seems pretty good. Get rid of this tree too. I don't know why that's there. Here, 5. Spruce leaves. Spruce. Okay, use this to get rid of any remaining grass. Let's see. That looks better. Then we can do a little bit of smoothing. Sorry, wandering trader. You may get a little bit smooth. What's going on here? Is there a hole underground? There is. There's a ravine. That's not good. Okay. We're gonna do one of these. Okay, fill most of that in. Let's go back to our smoothie brush. And I think I'm gonna end up filling this all in with stone as well. Just to give us a little more flat space to work with. Oh, that came out the other side. Where did that big... Ah, okay. Must be a hole somewhere over here. Maybe it's somewhere in here. Maybe this connects. Oh, this is interesting. Yeah, because we have this very large ravine, and it has a hole right here, apparently. Huh. Alright, let's patch that up. Should probably do it with stone, huh? Okay. Actually, let's go back under there. Just make sure that, this is all very dark. This does not look like there are any holes. Okay. Let's fill this in. Let's go check on the other side. Nope, I did it again. It's really annoying. Why? I have no idea. You plug these holes all up. That's interesting now. I don't see any holes. You guys see any holes? You get a little bit of light leaking from some of these corners. I don't see any way that the stone could be escaping. Right? Got 2 little blocks there. Yeah, this is just massive. I don't want this to... This is too big. Well, can we fill it in? I do this. That does not come out, so that's good. Maybe we fixed it this time. Stand in this hole. Okay, cool. Didn't spill out. I don't know what was wrong for that last time, but something. All right. Need to refill in this one. I believe we can stand here. That does not look like it's spilled out anywhere. That's good. All right. Okay. This looks pretty good. See if we can, oops. Fill in a few more of these layers. And get some sort of a pathway up the hill sort of mocked out. Wandering trader, I need you to die. I'm sorry. Also, llamas, you need to die. Please go away. I'm sorry, llamas. I'm sorry. But you are majorly in the way. And I just don't have time to gently herd you off into the distance. Much as I would like to. Ooh, a bit of lag there. Okay. Oh man, it's true. He did nothing wrong. He was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. Rip traveling sales dude. His death will be forever memorialized on this channel. Yeah, I'm gonna get canceled again by Ruben and everyone too for killing the traveling merchant. R.I.P. Honestly, I wish the villagers and the animals and stuff. I wish there was a thing in creative where you could just tell them where to go, and they just go there. Because then I wouldn't have to worry about killing them and stuff. Because if I can move them, that wouldn't be an issue. It's only an issue because they refuse to get out of the way when I'm trying to get things done. Don't they understand? I'm on a mission. I'm building a city. I don't have time to buy their wares or listen to them moo. Time is money. This little area is a little bit weird. Okay, I think that's okay. We can cut that off a little bit. Okay, that seems like a fairly smooth path up this slope. Yeah. Like I'd walk up that. That's a nice leisurely walk. Not too crazy. Let's see. Mm-hmm. Nice. Yeah, it's gonna look good. Okay, I can see how this is all coming together. Okay, cool. I don't know why my frames are slipping so much. I wonder what's going on. I wonder if the server is saving. Sometimes what happens. Yeah, honestly, I think that's pretty good. We do need to smooth this out a little bit because this thing is going a little bit crazy up here. Trying not to smooth that tree out of existence. All right. Oh, so much stuff. But I don't know. It feels like the amount that we accomplish every episode is small, but we're gradually making progress. You know, like this lake wasn't here when we started, and now it is. So that's progress. It's just oh man, it's a little anxiety inducing looking at how much there is left to do. There's a lot. We'll get there. That's the purpose of these streams, is to get through this stuff one little bit at a time. But yeah, I think I'm going to wrap things up there for this evening. Sorry it was a short stream. It's kind of impromptu. I was just gonna do a little bit of work, and I figured maybe people wanted to watch. You know, maybe I'll go on a, you know, half-hour long math rant, scare everyone away. But oh my goodness. A week ago, this field was way different. The gatehouse fields, lake, and houses were all not there. Yeah. And you know, like a week before that, this whole place was covered in like default Minecraft trees, and it was really ugly. I should post some before and after shots of some of this stuff, because the difference is stunning. But it's coming along. I really like it. Sorry, man. I was only doing a little bit of work today, but I might be on later. I know that you're up late sometimes, so I might be on later to do some work in Stone's Rest over here, because that's something that I want to do, but I just haven't had a lot of time to do. But we'll work on it. But yeah, it's exciting to see. You know, I mean, right now, even, you know, it looks empty, but I anticipate by the end of this week, by the time we get to the Saturday stream, this whole area is going to be filled in. Possibly some of this even. All these are going to be filled in. This little town's going to be done. At the rate that people are working, you know, things are going to change rapidly. But yeah, I'll catch you guys around. You guys have a great night or great morning or great afternoon or whatever it is for you. And I'll see you on Wednesday. Catch you later. Bye.